Welcome to BookCast, where books speak and you grow. Here we bring the world's most powerful books to life, breaking down their big ideas, life lessons, and hidden gems, so you can learn, grow, and transform, one chapter at a time. Before we begin, if you love learning and growing through books, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us bring more great books to life for you. New book breakdowns every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday only here on BookCast. Let the book speak and let your journey begin. Imagine that the money in your wallet, the plastic card you tap at the grocery store, the salary that arrives every month into your account, is not money, but is literally your life. That every unit of currency is a unit of your life energy. The hours you sacrificed sitting in traffic and fluorescent offices and uncomfortable chairs are frozen inside those bills. Your Money or Your Life by Joe Dominguez and Vicki Robin is not just a personal finance book. It is a transformation device. It is a mirror placed in front of your soul. It forces you to ask, how are you exchanging your life? And is the exchange fair? Joe Dominguez, the man behind the original method, retired at age 31. Not because he won the lottery, not because he inherited wealth, but because he realized that the world had hypnotized him into thinking money is the center of reality. He saw the illusion early. He walked away early, and for the rest of his life, he taught millions how to free themselves too. Vicki Robin, his co-author, took the message and decades later brought it back and updated it with Grant Sabatier, adding the modern context of financial independence, index fund investing, and the FIRE movement that is reshaping how millions think of work and freedom today. You are about to experience the full transformation of this book in one long chapter, but not as a summary. As a personal confrontation. You might feel a little uncomfortable. That's good. Transformation never feels comfortable. So let's begin at the beginning. The book proposes that money is not dollars. Money is life energy. Every time you make money, you are spending time, energy, attention, focus, emotion. When you spend money, you are literally spending pieces of yourself. The average human acts like money is just numbers. But the book forces us to rewire the brain. The only real currency you have is the hours of your life. You can always make more money. You cannot make more life hours. Once your life hour goes, it's gone forever. That's why this book is a threat to consumer culture. Because when you see money like life energy, you stop being a slave. For this transformation to happen, we need to go into all 9 steps the book teaches. We will not call them formal chapters or titles. We will live in them, and we will talk directly to you as if you are sitting here, and we are coaching you personally through your financial awakening. Step 1 invites you to wake up from financial sleepwalking. It asks you to calculate the lifetime income you have earned up to this moment. Literally sit down and add it up. Think of the first job you ever had. Even if it was tiny money. Add every job since, every gig, every paycheck, every income source. And when people do this, they often experience a shock. Because when you see the total money you have earned in your lifetime, and then look at your current net worth, you will probably feel a strange friction, a strange uneasiness inside. Where did all of this go? Most people discover they have earned enough to be financially free already in life. But they traded every pound, every dollar, every earned unit for lifestyle inflation, consumption, status signaling objects, impulsive spending, boredom shopping, fast food dopamine hits, brand chasing. Most people realize they have already thrown away a small fortune. The book forces you to face the truth. You have not just spent money, you have spent your life. This shock is important. Don't run away from it. Don't shame yourself. Face it, because once you see reality, you can no longer unsee it. You will start to live differently. Step 2 asks you to calculate your real hourly wage. Most people think they earn maybe £200 an hour or $15 an hour or £300 an hour. But that's a lie. The book wants you to calculate all the invisible costs attached to work. Transportation, clothes for work, lunches you buy because you have no time, fuel. The mental exhaustion that forces you to buy pleasure to compensate. Medical stress, even vacations that you think you deserve because work drains you. When you subtract all of this from your salary, you find your real hourly wage. And you will be shocked how small it actually is. Suddenly, that purchase of a new phone isn't just $500, it costs 39 hours of my life energy. Now everything changes. Because once a human sees price in life energy, they buy less, they consume less, they become intentionally conscious. This one shift is enough to completely change someone's financial trajectory forever. Step 3 takes this transformation deeper. It asks you to track every single dollar you spend, every purchase, every small coffee, every bottle of water, every online subscription, every impulse snack. Not later, not weekly, not monthly, in the exact moment of the spending. Because the moment of spending is the moment of consciousness. Most people have no idea where their money goes because they never look. And what we do not observe controls us. But what we observe, we control. When you begin to track, something magical happens that has nothing to do with budgets or accounting. You begin to see your patterns. You begin to recognize the truth of who you are financially. And it might sting, but it's real. Because life only changes when you face the truth. Money is never the problem. Money is the symptom. The real problem is unconsciousness. When you track every transaction, you shine light on the automatic habits that have been draining your life energy. This step alone has saved people millions collectively. Because for the first time, they realize, I didn't choose my lifestyle, my impulses chose for me. Step 4 asks you to categorize every spending into one of 3 states. Is it aligned with your values, neutral, or actually subtracting meaning and joy from your life? You begin to ask, does this expense give me fulfillment proportional to the life energy it cost? And here is the realization that changes everything. Most of the things we spend money on do not make us happier. They numb us, or distract us, or help us maintain an identity we don't even care about. The book forces you, gently but firmly, to eliminate anything in your spending that drains your life energy without delivering fulfillment. And this is huge, because when you remove meaningless spending, you do not become deprived. You become liberated. Step 5 introduces the concept of the wall chart. This is where numbers become visible and consciousness becomes physical reality. You graph your income monthly. You graph your expenses monthly. You graph your investment income monthly. You see your entire financial life on a wall like a real-time mirror. And for the first time, maybe in your entire existence, you stop living financially blind. You stop living in vague hopes. You see truth and trajectory. And when your consciousness sees progress, it gains motivation. The wall chart becomes like a scoreboard. And we humans love to win games. The book literally turns your financial life into a winnable game. And the moment wealth building becomes a game you can see, your brain begins to play it smarter. Because now you have feedback. Now your efforts produce visible results. Step 6 introduces the idea of alignment. Increasing your income only in ways that are aligned with your values and your life purpose. The current world sells the lie that more money is automatically better. But if your money costs you your soul, if your money costs you your peace, if your money costs your health, your ethics, your self-respect, then that is not money. That is slavery. The book wants you to earn more, but without draining your life energy. And here, the modern updated edition adds an important nuance. In the modern world, there are many ways to increase income leveraging the internet, skills, freelancing, small side projects, without selling your soul. That's how modern FIRE people do it. They don't work 80 hours a week. They choose income streams that are aligned with their soul and values. And that's what you will learn too. Step 7 moves you to the most powerful act of the entire book, your crossover point. This is the moment where your investment income is enough to cover your living expenses. Once that line is reached, you never have to work for money again. Ever. In your entire life. This is not a fantasy, this is not a dream, this is a math formula. If your costs go down and your investments go up, eventually those lines meet. And when they meet, you cross into freedom. That is the moment you take back ownership of your life energy. That is the moment you wake up into true autonomy. This is why the FIRE movement exploded. Because this book gave people the formula, not theory, a formula. And people saw the possibility. And then they executed. Step 8 is the execution itself, investing. Here, the updated edition makes it modern and specific. Most people believe investment is complicated and risky because the financial industry wants them dependent. But the truth is simple. The most effective way to invest for financial independence is low-cost index funds. Why? Because the enemy of wealth is fees. The enemy of wealth is complexity. The financial industry profits from complexity. But simplicity is where real wealth grows. The book teaches you to invest in broad, diversified, low-cost index funds and let compounding work. Not timing the market, not gambling, not speculation. Simple consistency over time. Step 9 is the most spiritual moment of the entire book, and maybe of your life. It asks, when you no longer need money, how do you want to live? What is your purpose? What is your contribution? Because if you become financially free and spend the rest of your life distracting yourself with comfort and consumption, you have missed the point. Freedom is not the end. Freedom is the beginning. Freedom is the doorway into your real life, your real mission, your real being. This book is not about money. This book is about reclaiming ownership of your life, and money is only the tool. And now you begin to realize something that the entire modern world hides from you. Most people do not hate work. They hate meaningless work. They hate work that drains their life energy and does not give them identity, purpose, or dignity. Humans are not lazy. Humans are allergic to meaninglessness. When you remove the need to work for money, you remove the distortion. Then you discover what you actually want to contribute. Because humans are by nature creators. We want to produce, build, help, serve, invent, teach, express. But we cannot do any of this freely if we are financially suffocating. The world has conditioned you to think, you must suffer first, then maybe someday you get permission to live. But this book breaks that illusion. It says, live now, live aligned, live awake, and let money become a servant, not a ruler. This book also exposes a fascinating psychological truth. Most consumption is not about satisfaction. It is about identity and relief. The vast majority of people buy things not because those things make life better, but because those things temporarily numb emotional pain. Emotional pain from work they hate. Emotional pain from life direction confusion. Emotional pain from comparison and social hierarchy. When people feel powerless, they consume. When people feel out of control, they consume. When people feel small, they try to buy significance. Consumer culture feeds and profits from this emotional addiction. So when you begin to disconnect spending from identity, you are not just saving money, you are breaking psychological chains. You are reclaiming your self-definition. One of the most powerful insights in the updated edition is that this transformation doesn't take decades. It can take a surprisingly short time if you commit, especially in a world where digital skills can be learned fast and value can be created globally. Financial independence used to be a retirement concept for age 65. Today, it is a freedom concept for age 35, or 40, or 25, or any age that you choose to make the shift. The book gives you a blueprint. Lower expenses consciously, invest the difference consistently, develop income streams aligned with your values, and let compounding do the rest. But the real shift is not the techniques. The real shift is identity. You stop seeing yourself as a consumer and start seeing yourself as a creator. And once this shift happens, something unexpected appears. Happiness stops being expensive. When you stop living on autopilot and start living intentionally, you realize real joy doesn't cost much. Nature is free, relationships are free. Movement, conversation, meaning, connection, creativity, these are almost costless. And almost everything that costs a lot is mostly a distraction from the lack of these things. When you anchor your life in meaning, consumption reduces automatically, not because of discipline, but because of irrelevance. You simply stop needing artificial stimulation to survive your own life. You begin to live a life that does not require escape. The book tells story after story of people who woke up. Teachers, factory workers, designers, engineers, nurses. People who were not high income, but became financially independent anyway. They cut their expenses, tracked their spending, aligned their work with their values, invested simply, and crossed over. When you hear these stories, you realize financial independence is not about the amount you earn. It is about the amount you keep and the consciousness with which you spend your life energy. And here is one of the most powerful ideas in the entire message. Financial independence is not the end goal. The end goal is a life fully lived, a life where your hours belong to you, a life where your calendar is aligned with your soul. Once you understand money as life energy, every purchase becomes a life decision. Every spending choice becomes a reflection of who you are becoming. And then money becomes your ally. You start to ask different questions. Not, can I afford this? But, is this worth my life energy? Not, how can I make more money? But, how can I live more fully? Not, when can I retire? But, how can I be alive now? And this is the true revolution. The book ends with a deep human truth. Money is not the goal, freedom is, and freedom is not the end, it is the beginning. When you cross over, you don't retire from life, you return to it. You return to presence. You return to human-scale living. You return to the version of you that existed before society convinced you that your value is your salary. You discover that the richest part of life was never in consumption. It was always in connection, creation, contribution, growth. The moment your time becomes fully yours, you begin to ask the real questions. What do I want my days to look like? Who do I want to serve? What moves my soul forward? And the most shocking discovery is that the life you always dreamed of was not on the other side of more money, it was on the other side of enough. Enough is a doorway. Enough is freedom. Enough is where you meet yourself again after years of being hidden behind pressure. You were never built for endless earning. You were built for meaning. You were built for purpose. You were built to give something to the world that only you can give. And that is the real message of your money or your life. Take your life back from the illusion of scarcity, build the path to financial independence, and then go live the greatest story your soul is calling you to live. Because once your life energy belongs back to you, the world becomes wide again, your choices become infinite again, and you finally remember life was always bigger than money. If this book spoke to you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful insights from the world's bestsellers. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing. This is BookCast, where books speak and you grow.